Hi there, my name's Catherine and this is my channel So Much Sewing. Thank you very much for coming back to be with me here again today. Or if you're a new subscriber, then hello, nice to see you. I hope you will like what you see and I hope you will stick around. I hope you'll subscribe and like and do all those things that we YouTubers like you to do. Today is a Friday Sews, and actually for the first time in I don't know how long, I'm actually filming it on Friday, and I will take some videos and pictures tomorrow morning, which is my Saturday, and hopefully I will get them all edited on this video and uploaded to YouTube on my Saturday, which is of course Friday for anyone in the Northern Hemisphere. So yeah, let's see how that goes. Hopefully that will work out. I actually wasn't going to film today because this morning I was at work. I deal with customers, and this morning I unfortunately had a lady who was very horrible to me, and she kind of put a bummer on my whole entire day. And I've been bummed all day and I didn't feel like filming a video, and then I just thought, actually no, she's already ruined my day. I'm not letting her ruin my happy place, which is my sewing, which is my YouTube channel. So to her, I'm doing it. I threw some eye makeup on. I haven't got any other makeup on, but I threw some eye makeup on and put on my prettiest dress and thought, bugger it, I'm filming. I've been working from home today, you see, so I've just been hanging out and actually in a paint coloured t-shirt. Thank goodness I wasn't doing any Zoom calls, it was all done by phone. So yeah, that has been my day. This dress that I am wearing is another Yvette from Style Arc. I'll show you in some more detail when I take some video and photos, but I will put some pictures in for you to have a look at. It's made out of a beautiful viscose fabric from a company called Harmer and Huff, who is a New Zealand fabric store, and I purchased this fabric, I think I actually purchased this on sale over their Christmas period, and it's been sitting in my stash for, you know, a few weeks. But as you know, I got obsessed with the Style Arc Yvette dress, and this is the third version I've made. I've actually made quite a few changes to it, but I'll talk you through those a little bit later on. I also have a new haircut, and I am undecided about it. It's exactly what I asked my lovely hairstylist for. She gave me everything I wanted, but now that I have it, I'm not sure if I want it. Like my mother used to say, be careful what you wish for. So it's been a funny old day for me, but anyway, now I'm in my happy place, so let's move on. Friday Sews, as you know, is a hashtag that YouTubers, sewing YouTubers, post under. It's just a really nice, convenient sort of little package for anybody who is starting out really watching YouTube sewing videos. It's a really good place for you to go and start your journey. Just type in hashtag Friday Sews into the YouTube search engine, and you will find a whole bunch of YouTubers like myself who talk about sewing, everything to do with sewing patterns, pattern matching fabrics, you know, all that sort of stuff. So please do take the time to have a little search, and you might find some really interesting YouTubers that you haven't seen before. Friday Sews was started by Jen from Today in Jen's Sewing Room, and Jen has a million videos on her website, so go and check her out as well. Friday Sews talks about the things that you've been up to in the week and plans that you have coming up, and also a little bit about life. Well, I've already told you all about what's going on in my life so far, so let's get on to my recent makes. And this is one of them. As I said, it's the Style Arc Yvette dress, the third version that I have made. This one, I put a gathered skirt on it. I just made a rectangle and put the gathered skirt on it. You'll see when I put full-length photos in, it is a full-length dress, or a maxi dress. I put the closet core knix sleeves on. We all know I had a little obsession with the NYX closet core top. last week, a couple of weeks ago, but I've used the sleeves on the Style Arc Yvette dress because I wanted a sort of a more autumny dress that would take me through to the winter time as well, and this has worked out really well. I love this viscose fabric. It's very sort of densely woven viscose, and it has these amazing anemones printed actually on the fabric, so parts of them actually you can feel that they printed on the fabric. They're quite thick in places, but I just love this colouring. It's not a colour that I have worn a lot, but I am sort of, I mean, I do wear a lot of black. I love black. I love the sort of alternative, funky, sort of gothy, I don't know, emo, whatever you call it. That is a style that I really enjoy, but I also want to wear more colours that can fit within that sort of style parameters, and so I just thought I would try this. Actually, it looks like I need to iron that down a little bit more, so sorry about that, but yes, I really love this dress. I will also put some pictures in of the Style Arc Yvette dress I made before this one. It is made out of a fabric godmother viscose called Lunar Trees. I did get that from the Dahlia Society, but I know she's sold out of that now. You might be able to find it elsewhere, but it's the most beautiful viscose. It's got a sort of a, do you remember like the sand wash silk fabrics, whether it was silk or not, I'm not sure, but it was called sand washed silk back from the sort of 1980s. It's got that very soft sort of texture to it, sort of almost peached. Absolutely beautiful, love the way it drapes, and the changes that I made on that Yvette dress was that I turned the skirt into one piece, front and back. The original pattern has panels in the skirt. I'm sure I'll be putting pictures up now for you to have a look at. So it did have panels in the skirt, but I just sort of joined them all together and made a skirt cut on the fold, one piece for the front and one piece for the back. I just liked that nice simple line. I made it quite long, and the sleeves that I put on that version were, I put the top of the Yvette dress and I put the bottom sleeve from these Knix blouse. Does that make sense? So I put the two pieces together. On top I had the Style Arc pleat, and then I just put the Closet Core Knix pattern, the sleeve pattern, up to about where the armhole was. I just laid it on top, so we had the pleat here, and then from here down was the Knix. So I like the way that turned out as well. And again, I just wanted another autumny sort of dress that would take me through to the winter. And so I put the long sleeves on it. And I love all three versions of my Yvette dress. I think that's it for now. I seem to be going through a phase of just really obsessing on a pattern at the moment and making up several versions. So, but I'm going to draw myself in now. I'm going to draw a line in the sand. No more Yvette for me until summertime. I'm sure I will make that again in summertime. And actually, an interesting thing, I've been asked to make one for someone at work. Someone loved the dress so much they wanted me to make one for their mother. So that's a whole new ball game. You know, a whole new realm for me, making an item of clothing for someone else, especially someone I don't know. So I'm sort of thinking about doing that at the moment, and it's all a bit sort of scary, to be honest. I mean, I know it's probably quite an easy pattern to fit for someone else, but yeah, it just brings up a whole lot of sort of traumatic feelings about how that might go. Anyway, that's very flattering, and that's, you know, for another day for me to think about. Another make I made this week was another Tazuti Hazelwood top. I love that pattern. I love Tazuti patterns. I've loved everything that I've made from them. Oh, everything. I've made two patterns and I've loved both of them. This hazelwood top I made out of a merino, a textured merino that I purchased off our Trade Me. It's a supplier on Trade Me who, she's got her own website outside of Trade Me as well, and she just uses Trade Me as another avenue for her sales. So it's this beautiful sort of tealy merino with a texture on it. I made the same size that I had made previously, and I wonder if it's maybe a little bit on the large side, but I quite like the comfortable, slightly oversized look. I'll actually put a picture in of the other one that I made as well, the first one that I made. And I think this is just a really nice, gorgeous, snuggly top to wear with some plain black pants and some boots during the winter time. Layer up with a nice cardi or a jacket over the top. I love it, love it, love it. It's got hem facings on the bottom hem and on the cuffs, and I used Mariflex thread to sew those. I did the rest of the sewing on my overlocker, but on the hems I used Mariflex to put those hem bands, hem facings on. And I just think it gives a nice weight to the top. The merinos, it's not a very thin floppy merino, but I think it really benefits from having the facings on the hem and on the cuff like that. One thing I did do with the neck on that is I lowered it just a smidge. Actually, I did that with this as well. With the blue, I made the blue Yvette first, and I have worn that to work, and I found that as I was sitting at my desk, it just felt like it was sort of riding up a little bit and sort of getting a bit sort of choky feeling. So I lowered the neckline on that just a smidge for this one here, and so far it feels like, you know, it's more of a comfortable fit, apart from this bit that I need to iron down a bit more. So that's what I did with the hazelwood top as well. I just sort of took that down a little bit because the previous green one that I showed you a picture of, it just sort of bags a little bit here. It just sort of gathers up a little, sort of flops down. So I think that that has sort of alleviated that issue. But I mean, that's the only change I made. I just love that top so much. The next projects that I have lined up for this weekend, hopefully, is I would like to make a pair of Nina pants from Tazuti. It's for stretch fabrics, and I have a few choices available to me of fabrics that I could use. I think I'm going to make the toile out of this bengaline that I have. It's got great, that's horizontal stretch. No, it's not, it's vertical stretch, sorry. That's the vertical stretch. It doesn't have any horizontally, so I need to check the pattern to see if we need horizontal stretch as well as vertical. This bengaline is actually, I got it from Style Arc. They do bundles where you can get the pattern and the fabric. Oh, I'm losing things here. And I bought this quite a long time ago, actually. It probably was a couple of years ago, and it was a bundle with one of their pairs of stretch pants, which I don't recall which it was at the moment, and I obviously haven't made it up, and I've kept the fabric in my stash. But so, and I decided I didn't necessarily really love this, so I'm happy to use that as a toile and see how that goes. I also wonder if I would make the pattern, once I've got the toile sorted, out of this lovely cotton fabric that I have. I don't know if this is going to be thick enough. It might be a little bit, might not be heavy enough for bottoms, I'm not sure. But this is a very lovely textured cotton. Again, no stretch that way, but decent amount of stretch vertically. It's got a very nice texture on it. I hope that is coming out for you. And I mean, I said before, I wear a lot of black, and a pair of black stretch pants will never go amiss in my wardrobe. And this is the other fabric that I have in mind for once I have the toile sorted out. This, oh actually that fabric there, I can't remember where I got it from. It would have been either Draper's or the fabric store, and it would have been a long time ago, so I doubt they would have that in stock anymore. This fabric here is from the fabric store. They might still have some in stock. I know it's been around for a while. It's got a small amount of stretch horizontally and slightly more vertically, but it's a nice thick. This would be great for bottoms. It's just a grey sort of a shark colour, and I've got masses and masses of it. I think I got something like 4 meters of it, which was a bit overkill, but hey, pants, jacket, who knows. Another make I have on my plans for this weekend, busy weekend. Probably not going to get all of it done. Hopefully I'll get this done though. This is the thing I would really like to get done. And this is, I would like to make the Milo cardigan from Seamwork. I've shown you this rib wool before. And I've got the paper pattern Milo cut out, and that's the first thing I'm going to make this weekend. I just think it's going to be a versatile, comfy, chuck it on and go, you know, throw it on with just about everything, including this, that I have in my wardrobe. It might turn out to be a bit more casual, I'm not sure. I know the pattern calls for bands along the bottom hem and the sleeves, but I'm wondering if I might leave the bands off and just do a turn up on that. So yeah, just maybe do a turn up, a traditional hem. I'm not sure. I'll see how I go with that. I don't want to use a rib, like a rib knit. I would use, if I put a band on, I would use the same fabric here, but like I say, I think I'm going to go for no bands on this cardigan. The next project on my list is growing and growing, isn't it, is the new Camille dress by Style Arc. Oh, I've just noticed the candle we've got sitting there. We had to prepare for power outages during Cyclone Gabriel. If you're interested in what's been going on in New Zealand regarding our recent amazingly horrible weather incidents, stick around. I'll talk about it at the end. It's been very, very traumatic for everybody, and it's been a real big deal, but like I say, I'll talk about that at the end if you're interested. The next project is the Camille dress by Style Arc. It's a brand new dress, which I just love the look of. I love that side split, the little side detail there. It's got a inset to give it shape. And I bought this, it's actually, I got it from the same person that I got the merino for my recent Hazelwood top. I got it from the same person, and I'm very sure it's the same fabric. It's merino, it's got the texture, same texture on it. Is that coming off? I can't really tell because the sun is streaming in here, and it's just sort of making it hard for me to tell if you can, what you can see and what you can't see. And I'm getting a bit hot and getting a bit rosy cheeked, I think. The sun is just streaming in. So yeah, I'm looking forward to making that Camille dress out of this fabric. This is actually not quite as heavy as I thought it was going to be, but I think it'll be fine. This is actually, it's got a nylon content in it, which small, maybe 25%, I'm not sure, which I'm okay with, because it just makes it more hard wearing. You can throw it in the washing machine and wash it. You don't have to treat it with a lot of, you know, care. And I like that in a piece of clothing. I'm not about hand washing and spending time doing that sort of thing. And you know, that's not my style. But so I'm looking forward to making that Camille dress. And what else did I need to tell you? I'm looking down at my notes here because I am very prepared. Oh, I wanted to let you know that I managed to get a Dahlia Society bespoke box this month, which I'm pretty excited about. The theme is sort of all about romance for the month of February, the month of Valentine's. So I know that it's on its way to me, so hopefully it won't take too much longer to get to me. I also have bought a new pattern, the Solvi jacket from the Talco magazine. I love the look of this. I love that it's you can make it in boiled wool, so you don't have to worry about finishing the edges. I do have a beautiful cranberry coloured boiled wool that I am thinking about making that out of, but I also have a sort of a polar fleecy type fabric that I'll do a toile out of first, just to make sure. Or do I need to do a toile? Maybe I don't even need to do a toile, because you know, it's a boxy fit. I don't think I'll have any issues, so I'll probably just go in with my good fabric. Oh, that feels like a bit risque, a bit adventurous, but I'm just going to go in with my fabric. In fact, I'll grab it for you so you can have a look at it. So here it is, this amazingly beautifully coloured cranberry boiled wool. I should just have enough to make that Solvi jacket. I originally purchased this, I was going through a phase, so it seems like my obsessive phases have been going on for a while, and I just hadn't noticed that that's what was happening to me. But I was going through an obsessive phase of making Paloma jackets from Style Arc. Let me make sure that's the right name. No, it's the Burchell jacket, this one here. They've got another one that's similar, Palermo, and I was getting confused, but yeah, it's the Burchell. So I've made myself a couple of those, and I originally purchased that cranberry boiled wool to make that with, and decided not to in the end. Obviously my obsessiveness faded, and I decided to obsess about something else. And another plan I have is the Mila jumper from Tammy Handmade. It's a newish top. So I've got that on my radar as well. But in addition to that, I have got some other patterns printed. I've just gone berserk and printed off some PDF patterns, or had them printed at copy shops, just so I've got them to hand. I've sort of felt like I've got a lot of patterns in PDF format, and I haven't got a lot of them printed out at the moment, so I just felt like I needed to do a big batch and get a whole bunch printed, so that when I felt like it, when the mood struck, I could make these items up. I've also had printed, what have I had printed? Another Style Arc dress, the Sher dress, and I actually can't remember what else, sorry. As you may know, paper cut patterns have now stopped printing PDF patterns. If you live in New Zealand, you may know that. Or you've probably seen it anyway throughout the sewing community, because there has been announcements made. So, you know, that's very sad. She's, you know, trying to step back and look after her health at the moment, and so she's decided that printing paper patterns is not something she wants to be doing. And they are a company that I used, you know, have used several times to get my PDF prints done. So I have actually branched out and used a couple of different companies for my for this batch of paper patterns. I've had 3 printed with one company and 3 printed with another company. I've used Christchurch Sews, who you may know on Instagram as Fat Bobbin Girl, and she's one half of the duo of Moona and Broad, who have some sewing patterns. I think mainly plus size sewing patterns. I don't know if they do smaller sizes as well. So she's one half of Moona and Broad, and she has Christchurch Sews, and she is printing some patterns for me. I have yet to receive those, and I've also had some patterns printed from Studio of Sewing here in Auckland. So they arrived today actually, and I've already cut out the seam work Milo cardigan. So that service was amazing. Did maybe take a day or two longer to get to me, but that's because they had some flooding. The roads were blocked around their area, and so a courier couldn't get in to pick up the patterns to deliver them to me. So that was through no fault of their own, and that's just all part of what's been going on in Auckland and New Zealand at the moment. So I was very happy with their service, and I'm sure I'll be using them again. So that's really all about the sewing. I think that's enough to keep me busy for a while. And if you are interested now, I'm going to start talking about the cyclone Gabriel and the flooding that we've had going on here. So if you're not interested, that's fine. I will see you later. It's no drama at all. You, if you don't know anybody in New Zealand except me, then you're not going to be, you know, wanting to know what's going on for us. But so that's fine. So I will see you next time. Thank you so much for being here, and I really do hope that you will come back and see me again, see how my plans get on over this weekend. I wonder how many things I will actually get done. Hi, it's the following day. I am re-recording my chat on the cyclone situation. It was very upsetting for me yesterday. I probably got off track. I didn't cover so much of what needed to be covered. So I thought I would try again this morning, be calm, be factual. I've got some notes here, so I'm going to try and stick to a clear and concise picture of what's going on. If you're interested in the cyclone because you are a New Zealander living elsewhere, or you have family or friends here, then you've probably been following the news anyway, and what I'm telling you is not going to be anything new. But anyway, here we go. So it started about 3 weeks ago with ex-cyclone hail. A cyclone is the southern hemisphere word for hurricane. So if you're in the northern hemisphere, you would call it a hurricane. Presumably it would be an ex-hurricane hail. An ex-cyclone just means that it's still an extremely severe storm. It's just not at that cyclone category or hurricane category anymore, but it's still a very damaging weather event. So mass floodings in that first event 3 weeks ago, landslides. It wasn't just, you know, water falling from the sky and rivers rising. Our stormwater system didn't cope at all, and probably our stormwater system is what caused an awful lot of the damage that people have suffered in Auckland. So yes, people lost their houses, huge surges of water went through their houses. You know, people were wading around up to this sort of deep inside their house and outside their house. 2 firefighters lost their lives. They were volunteer firefighters. There was a landslide in an area called Murawai over out west. West Auckland, and they went in to investigate a flooding situation. The house was flooded. They went in to investigate, and suddenly half the hillside fell on top of them. One firefighter was rescued and taken to hospital in a critical condition. The other one was lost. They couldn't find him. It was too dangerous to search for him. The firefighter who went to hospital in a critical condition has since died. They have found the body of the other firefighter who was lost in the wreckage. I've got goosebumps. Other than that, 4 other people lost their lives in that first cyclone that we had. People obviously are still trying to recover from that event. There are still people in evacuation centres, Still people without power, both in Auckland and further north, in the far north, Whangarei, that sort of area. So, you know, that in itself is still a big deal. And then we get the news, prepare for Cyclone Gabrielle. Prepare that you may lose power, prepare that you may be cut off, that you may need to fend for yourself for 3 days, get 3 days worth of food, water, batteries, candles, you know, prepare. Which is a pretty scary thing to, you know, I hadn't experienced that before. To be told, you know, this is a very, very serious event and lives could be at risk, so please prepare yourselves. So my husband did do some work around the house to help dig ditches and cut trees down and that sort of thing, you know, which I think was a great thing to do. The ditches did fill with water, and you know, you don't need to worry about us, we're fine, our house is fine. Well, Gabrielle hit with a vengeance. Not only was it worse than before, and I must say that where I live, it wasn't very severe at all. We had, you know, wind gusts of up to 130 k's, etc. And a lot of rain, of course, but where we are, we weren't hit that hard at all. Although I would say that Gabrielle was a huge physical size, huge physical size, and covered sort of the top of the North Island down to Auckland all at the same time, and then covered Auckland and out towards Coromandel all at the same time, and then moved down to the Hawke's Bay and Gisborne. It was just a massive physical size of a thing. So long story short, Auckland hit quite bad, you know, more flooding, more people displaced, but where it's hit the worst is Hawke's Bay, Gisborne area, which is out east of the North Island. Whole towns were cut off, literally cut off. The road didn't just get covered with trees and debris and mudslides and stuff. I mean, yep, that happened, but whole chunks of road fell away. So there's like, you know, meters and meters of road just disappeared. So they were physically cut off, and the power went out, which of course means that there's no cell phone coverage. There's no power. The food started going off in the freezers and the fridges, so they started running out of food. The water treatment plants were flooded, so there was no fresh water. They're only getting water shipped in. Navy ships have taken fresh water to some of these areas. Helicopters have been dropping food. The army have become involved. It's a disaster on a massive scale. Something that I've never seen in New Zealand before. We've been very lucky up till now. I suppose this is what everybody in the world has to expect in this age of global warming. Because the power was out, there was no EFTPOS, which is electronic funds transfer. We are basically almost a cashless society here in New Zealand. We've adopted it much more than other countries around the world, and so everything we purchase is on our ATM, our automatic, what do they call it, automatic teller machine? I don't know, on our bank card. And, you know, we don't even put the card and punch our number in. It's all tap and go. You want to buy something, you tap and go. So, I mean, I never have cash in my pocket. No, hardly anybody has cash in their pocket. The EFTPOS machines are down, so nobody can buy anything. The supermarkets are filled with food that are spoiling. Nobody can buy anything. I believe, you know, they will, I'm sure they will be donating food. I know there's been stories on the news of there was an Indian takeaway who made up all their food and gave it away before it spoiled. I'm sure there's many stories like that, which, you know, I don't get to hear about here in Auckland because communication has been down. There were days when people didn't know if their family and friends were alive or not. At the moment, there are about 4,500 people registered as missing and uncontactable. They do say that, you know, some of those incidents will be multiple reportings of the same person. But even if we say of those 4,500 people, they were reported missing 5 times, that's still a lot of people missing, unaccounted for. There have been 9 deaths that the officials are prepared to, you know, announce and say that they are deaths due to the flooding and the weather event. But there are anecdotal stories of people floating around bodies of water. They've set up a makeshift morgue at one of the ports. So we know that there's going to be more fatalities reported. One of the reported fatalities was a baby, elderly people. You know, there's amazing stories of survival, stories of people escaping their house, like floating at ceiling level, ducking under the water to get under the door, you know, floating at ceiling level again and smashing their way through the roof to get out onto the roof. Water right up to the gutters. People have been rescued by helicopter, off roofs. My heart goes out to the people who are suffering, who've lost everything. You know, there's a metre or a metre and a half of silt everywhere in places, and you know, you sort of think silt, you know, you can dig it out, but apparently it sets like concrete, it sets rock hard, and this sort of silt is through people's houses, it's through orchards, it's on farms. I wouldn't like to say how much livestock has been lost. You know, it's a big farming and agricultural area over there. A lot of our food that is grown in New Zealand for New Zealanders and for export is grown in the Hawke's Bay. Farming is huge. This is really going to impact, I would say, food that's available for us in New Zealand, and also the export market. People have, you know, obviously lost their livelihoods. They will have lost everything, not to mention, you know, loved ones, pets. There's some harrowing stories of people losing their pets, of, you know, hearing their livestock. Anyway, so that I just wanted to just give you a bit of an update. I'm one of the local plus size designers, a company called LaLa, which is lost in Led Astray, in Auckland here, has put a call out. She realised that one of her beautiful customers was at a refuge centre. What is it, refuge? No, that's rubbish. At a, I can't think of the word, sorry, refugee centre, a shelter for people who've been made homeless. And because they lost everything, she was saying that, you know, they were giving out bundles of clothing and bedding and that sort of thing, and she said none of the clothing fit her. She's a plus size lady and none of the clothing fit her. So Sara Jane from LaLa has put the call out for her customers to donate any plus size clothing that she will then distribute to shelters, which I think is a fantastic idea. And I have been sitting here, you know, in my home, feeling lucky to have come out unscathed, but feeling guilty as heck that I wasn't doing anything to help other people. So this is just one small thing that I can do, is donate some clothing, which sounds extremely silly, I know, but that's one small thing I can do. I've got a bunch of fat clothes that I don't need anymore, so I can donate my fat clothing to people who are in need. And please don't be offended by that word fat. You know, that's what we call ourselves. It's a recognised, acceptable word, so I'm not being disrespectful. So that's it. That's the end of my update. I'm going to film some twirls in the clothing that I made that I talked about yesterday, and then we're going to head out and take those clothing into Sara Jane and get on with the rest of our day. See ya.